We're less than 2 weeks away from Title 42 expiring at our southern border. The public health order was issued by the Trump administration, allowing Customs and Border Patrol officials to expel migrants to Mexico or back to their home countries of origin to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Our border correspondent, Jaeson Jones, is in Dilley, Texas, with the latest. Jason.
Well, good afternoon. You know, we talk about what's happening with Title 42 as it comes to an end and to a close. And you've been hearing me say for the last several weeks that it really doesn't matter at this point, because the perception that has gone out around the world between the local alien smuggling organizations, the Mexican cartels, and to the long haul smugglers globally is that if you want to come to the United States, now is your time to come. And you're seeing that unfold now as we've apprehended in the last 7 months over 1.2 million people. Last month alone, for the month of April, we've got preliminary numbers. The CBP apprehended over 210,000. Those are numbers we've never seen at this time. So it shows us very clearly that this border crisis is the worst in American history, not by perception or feeling, by the government's own data. Now, how does that impact the American people? As Republicans and Democrats continue to look at this through the lens of immigration, that's one part of it. But we've also got to remember that we're now sitting at 107,622 overdose deaths in this country, directly linked, because what's happening is as the U.S. Customs and Border Protection have migrated from a national security model to a processing and migrant care model, the areas between the lanes are wide open. And that's why we go to the border, to try to show the folks, because we're now seeing these cascading impacts as the bailouts, the pursuits back to back, the stash houses, and the damage to people's property. I'm 100 miles north right here from the border. And in the county next to me, in McMullen County, they just had a pursuit yesterday that reached speeds of almost 100 miles an hour, damaged people's property. And so when we think of this as a border issue, what we really have to realize is that there's no part of the country that's not being impacted. The North feels it differently in the overdose deaths, while down here we see it in pursuits, bailouts, and stash houses. And it's really a shame what's happening right now.
Jason, when you compare the way migrants are being processed in this country now, what does that potentially look like when Title 42 expires?
Yeah, we've never seen this before. Let me tell you where we are, because I think this is part of a little bit of the confusion. Right now, there are only 3 countries under the DHS requirements that are being deported. Those are Mexican citizens, those are Guatemalan citizens, and Hondurans. That's why you see them as runners. Everyone else, if you come from Cuba, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, those 3 countries are allowed to stay here under a humanitarian parole. And those are also the folks that are getting cell phones by our government. But the rest of the world gets a notice to appear. So that's part of these push-pull factors, while we're seeing the numbers of people coming from all over the world, not just from Central Mexico, Central and South America. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to continue to see things we have never seen because of the messaging that the government has done. And, that's an important part of this, because you keep hearing that, there's irregular migration happening. You notice you've never heard that term before this administration. And why are they saying it? Because it's their policies that are driving what the American people are going through right now.
And the DHS Secretary Mayorkas was on Capitol Hill a short time ago pitching their 11-point plan for how they plan to deal with the surge that we could potentially see when Title 42 goes away. Is there any more clarity on how that would play out at the border?
Well, what they're talking about, if you notice, he continues to repeat the same things, that DHS will be ready and that they're sending extra reinforcements down here as their own intelligence is saying that they may be processing as many as 18,000 people a day. So what they're really talking about is processing, not national security. So what does that say to the world? That says we're going to create a process that moves people into our country faster. And that's part of those push-pull factors. Where I have a real concern, and what you're hearing from a lot of people across the country, is what about national security? And the worst part of this is as we are in the worst overdose death crisis in American history. We call them overdoses, but really these are poisoning. And we can link this directly to the cartel. So they're winning. Not only are they pushing their poison into the country, but also this adjustment from human smuggling into the trafficking of people. It's a virus that we're seeing spread across the country. I've been working that border and stationed on it since 1999. I had never seen the kind of things that we're seeing unfold, and also just the sheer volume of crime impacting southern border states and then the rest of this country. It's really incredible.
Jason, I have to wonder, when we talk about the immense stress that Customs and Border Patrol officials are going to be under, the pressure that they're already under, what do they say to you about the removal of Title 42 and what that's going to do with how they operate?
There's a lot of frustration because they know more than anyone that when they're off the line and they're not working and they're processing people, that the cartel is now in control and have operational control of that border. And that's their frustration. And you may remember when they addressed their chief on this a little while ago, about a month ago or so. This was some of the concern that they were expressing, that, when you pull us off the line, these folks and all of this illegal traffic is coming into the country. You got to remember, to the cartels and to the alien smuggling organizations, people are just one commodity. You've got guns, you've got weapons, you've got money going south. There are a whole lot of commodities that move between those ports of entry that are illegal. And so that's where their concern is. One of the problems or the concerns that I have, that I've seen personally, is that we have left state and local law enforcement to have to deal with this. The pressure of sheriffs, police chiefs, police departments, and state police leadership to handle this pressure is immense. And I've seen that firsthand on the leadership that we've interviewed. And that's a real concern.
Yeah, Jaeson Jones, we appreciate that update. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.